Scrutiny Committee on Monday, the 21st of March, 2022. Just to make you all aware, today's meeting will be recorded. Excuse me. Can I also welcome any members of the public and press to today's meeting? Can I kindly ask you to observe the meeting only and not speak or participate? Can I please remind you all to switch your phone to silent for the duration of the meeting? In addition, can I refer you to the protocols for remote meetings which have been previously circulated? Namely, your microphone should be switched to mute unless you are speaking. Should you wish to ask a question or make a comment, can you please indicate either by the chat function or by raising your electronic hand by Teams? I will assume that you all have I'll assume that you have all read the paperwork before us today prior to the meeting. Please only use the chat function to indicate if you wish to speak as an alternative to the electronic hand function or to raise any technical issues. When asking a question, can you please indicate which page number you are referring to? The first item on the agenda is to do a roll call. I am Councillor Saifur Rahman, the chair, and I am present. I will now call on Alison, the Democratic Service Officer, to take the roll call, please.
Thank you, Chair. So I've marked you down as present. We'll go through councillors on the scrutiny first. Councillor Sharon Freegard.
Present, Alison.
Councillor Wyndham Griffiths. Councillor Nigel Hunt. Councillor Steve Hunt.
I'm here, Alison.
Councillor Chris James.
Yeah, present, Alison.
Dennis Keogh.
Present.
Thank you. I've had apologies from Councillor Simon Noyle. Councillor Alan Llewellyn. Councillor Sandra Miller. Councillor Rydian Maisen.
Yeah, I'm here, Alison.
Councillor Suzanne Paddison.
Present.
Thank you. I've had apologies from Councillor Lynette Purcell. Councillor Sonia Reynolds.
Present.
Councillor Rachel Taylor.
Present.
And Councillor Arwen Woolcock.
Yes, present, Chair.
Thank you. I'll move to Cabinet members next. Councillor Ted Latham.
Yeah, present, Alison.
Anne Jones.
Present, Alison.
Councillor Carol Clement Williams.
Present, Alison.
Mike Harvey.
Yeah, present, Alison.
Doreen Jones.
I'm here.
Thank you. Councillor Alan Lockyer.
Present, Alison.
Councillor Peter Rees.
Present, Alison.
Councillor Peter Richards.
Present, Alison.
And Councillor Annette Wingrave.
Apologies from Councillor Wingrove, Alison.
No problem. Thank you. I'll now move to officers. Karen Jones.
Present.
Thank you. Andrew Thomas.
Present, Alison.
Andrew Jarrett.
Yeah, I'm present.
Nicola Pierce.
Yeah, I'm present, Alison.
Jones.
I'm present, Alison.
Smiths.
Present, Alison.
Morris. Lana Bainan. Paul Hinder. Woodman Ralph.
Present, Alison, and we've had apologies from Councillor Sandra Miller.
No problem, thank you. Nicole Blackmore.
No, she's not here today, Alison. Thank you.
Okay. Karen Furlow Harris.
Present, Alison.
Thank you. Mike Roberts. Chris Owen.
Present, Alison.
Thank you. Lisa Willis. And Andrew Collins. Thank you. Is there anyone else on the call taking part in today's meeting whose name that I haven't called?
Yes.
Yes,
Oh, forgive me, Mr. Chair.
Sorry, Alison. Yeah, Simon Brennan and Lisa Willis and Andrew Collins send their apologies.
Right, no problem. Thank you.
Alison, Nigel Hunt is also in the meeting now.
No worries. And I think I heard Mike Shaw as well, did I? Present.
Yes, Alison. Thank you.
Thank you. That's the roll call complete then, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Alison. The next item is Chair's announcement. We have chosen to scrutinise item 7 and item 15 on our cabinet agenda. We have decided not to scrutinize the item on the Cabinet Finance Subcommittee today. Moving on, declaration of interest. Can members please indicate whether they have any declaration of interest in relation to the items that we have chosen to scrutinize today? Please, can you indicate? Okay, I don't see any. Moving on, pre-decision scrutiny, we will now need to move to cabinet papers. So can I please ask you to move to cabinet papers, please? Okay, the first item we decided to scrutinize is the item number 7, proposed service model for Civic Centre customer services and cash desk.
Chair, item
Yes.
4. Item 4 is the minutes of the previous meetings.
That's correct. My apologies. Okay, sorry members, I need to go back to the cabinet scrutiny agenda. As Peter Rees highlighted, we have minutes of previous meeting. There are a number of minutes there, so I will take them in their entirety. There are minutes there from the 14th of November 2021. There are minutes there from the 15th of December 2021, 5th of January 2020, 12th of January 2022, 9th of February 2020, and 28th of February 2022. Can I now ask for a proposer and a seconder for the approval of the minutes, please?
I move.
Thank you, Sonia.
I second.
Sorry, who was that? Sonia, you proposed it, yes?
Doreen, I think. Me.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if the cabinet
No,
member can.
I think.
Someone
I'll
else from
second
the
that.
Can
I'll
I get
second
someone from the
minutes.
cabinet scrutiny member, please, to second that?
I'll second the minutes.
Okay, thank you, Vice Chair. Okay, so back to the cabinet agenda then. The item we scrutinizing first is item 7, which is the proposed service model for Civic Centre customer services and cash desk. Can I ask, is it Hugh you're taking this report, Hugh?
Chris, so when we'll give an overview, Chair, before members have any questions.
Yes, Chris, would you mind giving us an overview, please, before I go direct to questions?
Thank you, Chair. So just a quick overview for members. We've prepared a paper which basically looks at how we're proposing to open the civic buildings during April. As members will be aware, the civic building has been closed since the start of the pandemic, with a large shift to the way we operate the council services to an online presence. There's been obviously a large uptake of those online services to support, things like paying online, etc., or to request any services that we have. But the time is now coming where obviously Welsh Government restrictions are starting to lessen, and we're in a position where we can start to really consider how those civic areas can be reopened to the public. The model sets out obviously operation of customer services. So if members of the public need to come in to ask questions around the range of council services, we'll be able to provide them over the desk. And what we're also looking to do is to improve some of the digital services in the customer services areas, so that members of the public who don't have access to technology at home can still access some of the online services. So as I said, the plan is to start the opening in April. Obviously, it'll be aligned to the Welsh Government restriction guidelines and the risk assessment that we'll undertake.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Can I call up Arwen Woolcock, please? You had a question?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. It's a comment really. Maybe questions and mixed with some comments. I don't really believe, Chair, that it's a good idea to close the cash desks. And now, whilst I fully appreciate the points that Mr. Owen has just made with regards to the public utilising other methods for paying their council tax and so on during the pandemic. However, now that the situation does appear to be improving, and that will allow civic centres to reopen again, I do firmly believe that the public and the people out there in the town centres will welcome the opportunity to visit the civic centres, and paying their bills would be one reason for doing that. No cash desk availability may even discourage the public from calling into the civic centres for other matters, and could even have a knock-on effect on the footfall in our town centres. So, Chair, we discussed this at the pre-briefing, and I know that some other members have some comments to make and suggestions. So I leave it at that for now, and then hand over to other members. Thank you, Chair, for your indulgence.
Okay, Steve, please.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Like Alwyn, I totally agree with him, Chris. I mean, I think we need to find something that will work both for ourselves and the public, of course. And Alwyn raises some good points. I've spoken to a number of officers and those working on the phones, finding it difficult themselves to try and explain in that content. So I think that face-to-face is key, and restrictions are going to be completely lifted on the 28th. So it's sort of live with COVID, back to normal scenario. I think, like Arwen, I totally understand where the report is suggesting, but I think we do need to allow and for some of the points he's raised as well. But I think I've gone into the buildings and I've seen members of the public trying to sneak in behind me, only to be told to leave, which is obviously under our rules now. And I think they may be queuing up to try and get in to try and have face-to-face. Now, you can't beat face-to-face, and there's a lot of those out there, the public, that use our facilities that can only do face-to-face. I don't know how they manage, and I do see the reports and how we've sort of moved away, but I think that aspect of it really does need to remain, and how we do it, again, as Arwyn said, other members have got other suggestions, so I'm not going to steal their thunder. I'll hand over to them, but I'm at the same mindset as Councillor Woolcock on this. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, Hugh, you indicated.
Yeah, I just wanted to make some comments around the cash desk, Chair, but if other members want to make similar observations, and perhaps I'll come in once other members have spoken. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, can I call up Suzanne, please, next?
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, on page 43, the second bullet point that's denoted general inquiries, the last sentence says, if customer is unable to complete. Now, I just need a definition of this, because if they've come in, there must be a reason, because as officers have said, people have been used to doing things online. If they've come in, they probably want to speak to somebody, officers in the council. Now, we have gone an awful long way along the line about consultations with the public. Our front-facing staff will come across a lot of feedback, and if we are, if people come to the desk and then they're just told, all right, there's an online machine over there, go over there, that is not good. So I hope that this is going to be done delicately. Some people may not wish to verbalise in a general area why they don't want to do things online, or maybe can't do online. There's a lot of deprivation out there. Maybe their online services are not affordable anymore and they've cancelled things like that. So I just hope that when people come in, and I would like assurances from officers that it's not going to be embarrassing people in a public area as to if they say they want to do it face-to-face, and what is the definition of unable to complete, please? Thank you.
Okay, Hugh, do you want to come in now?
Well, if I leave Chris address that point, first of all, Chair, if that's okay, and then I'll just talk around the cash desk after that.
Okay, no problem. Chris, over to you.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Councillor Patterson. So I absolutely understand your point. I think unable to complete is essentially around the member of the public not being able to use the digital assist that will be in play. So if they come in to ask a question, general inquiry, whatever it might be, customer services will absolutely respond to their query directly. What we're trying to do is just improve that digital footprint in the customer areas within the civic buildings. So for members of the public who can use those services, they're there for them. But of course, if they can't use them for whatever purpose, the customer services team will still be there to support them as per prior to the pandemic.
Okay.
Thank you very much for the response, Chair, but I just hope that in general areas, when people are around listening, this is done very tactfully. Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay, Hugh, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Just in relation to the cash desks, obviously they have been closed for 2 years now. We've put alternative methods of provision in place. People can use their local post offices, both in the town centres and in their local communities. What we have to do when we reopen is be mindful of the fact that whilst, as Councillor Hunt says, there are no restrictions in place, we still have to operate the building on a risk-assessed basis. So we don't want to encourage a huge number of people into the civic centres in the first instance. This is a first phase of reopening, if I can describe it as that. And I think we will, as part of it, monitor the impact in terms of on the demand for the cash desks. The staff who operate the cash desks are still employed. So we will always have the option, if needs be, if the demand is there, to think about some sort of reopening. So this is just an initial interim phase, Chair.
Okay. Members, do anybody wish to come back?
I wanted to come in.
Yeah, I'll bring you in a moment, Sonia. Can I go to Sharon first, if that's okay, Sonia?
Yep.
Okay, Sharon, please.
Thank you for that, Hugh. I just wonder how we can gauge people's reactions to the cash desk if it's no longer there in the first phase. I would have thought it would be better for it to be open in the first phase, gauge, get the responses, get the data, and then we could use that when we look at it again to see, is there a need for it? And the other point is obviously that we want to engage with the residents. We're looking at so many different ways of engaging with the residents to actually send them somewhere else to pay for something in the council, or to actually be able to come in and speak to the cash desk person, I think isn't giving them the choice. We have a choice as councillors whether we want a hybrid system or this and that, but we've got a lot of people who will no longer have the choice. So we're actually cutting their choice at the beginning before we can gauge what reaction is post-pandemic, really, because we don't know how many we're going to have coming in. And like Adwin said, there are a lot of people who want to come in. So I think perhaps in the first phase, perhaps, we need to perhaps think about that again and consider what people have said. Thank you.
Okay. Sonia, please.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to propose, and I'm aware of the paragraph on page 24 where it says that this will be constantly under review and we will be, tweaking it and sorting as we go forward. But I wanted to look at the recommendation on page 46 and paragraph 21 and add to that a time and date perhaps for the new administration to review this and bring it back for formal review, because I think there are concerns as we move forward. We do want to make sure we're getting our engagement right, and I think it's very, very crucial for the whole council that we get this absolutely clear and do this properly to meet the full needs of our population. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sonia. So you have a recommendation which you want to add to the recommendation on the report. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. Right. Steve, please.
Yeah, thank you for allowing me to come back. I totally agree with Sonia, but also with Sharon. The point I think we're trying to make is that what we set out from today's report and paths to go forward. Yes, the review's all well and good, but when Hugh mentioned, it will be under review, we need to set it out in the first instance. What is the best option for that to be reviewed. I think other members mentioned that maybe the cash desk should be open for and review that part of it, which isn't what's in the report for passing today. Because if we're going to review what we passed today, then that isn't something that I personally wouldn't want to see. I'd like to see the cash desks open and reviewing the impact of the numbers using it from the first instance. So I'm a little bit unsure, Chair, if I'm honest. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Steve. Sonia, can I come back to you then, please? And would you mind just once again proposing the recommendation you wish to add on to the report?
Yes, I was.
I'll hand over to Alison then, and she can explain us how do we go about this.
I was proposing, Chair, that we add to the recommendation in the foot frame that that members approve the proposed service model for 2022 with a review of the service by Cabinet within 6 months.
6 months, okay. Alison?
Yes,
Can I ask you to come in, please, and guide us through this process now?
Yes, Chair, so we've just had a proposal and amendment put forward. If we can get that amendment seconded, please, and then we'll take a vote on the amendment.
Can I get a seconder, please, on
Yes,
the...
Chair. I'll second that, Chair.
Okay.
Okay, if members now wish to vote, if there's any members voting to the contrary, if you could now indicate, please.
Steve?
I wish to abstain on that, Chair. Thank you for the reasons I've given. I don't think the model going forward to be reviewed isn't what I would like to see. So I'll abstain, Chair. Thank you.
Okay, no problem, Steve. So we go one abstain.
There's one abstain. There's no others that I can see. So that amendment has been carried. So it's now been added to the substantive motion. So we just need to propose the substantive motion now with the amendment and then second and vote on that, please, Chair.
Okay, so as Alison mentioned, then the recommendation is on page 46. Bear in mind, we'll add the recommendation that's been submitted by Cabinet Scrutiny. So can I please have a proposer and a seconder for the recommendations to go to Cabinet? Then members, if you do not indicate to the contrary by raising your electronic hand, I'll assume that you are all in favor of the recommendations. Obviously, we need to be mindful that Steve is abstaining.
So do we have a proposer first, please, Chair?
Okay, can I get a proposer, please?
I'll propose.
I'd like to second, Chair.
Okay.
Okay, so we now move to the vote, Chair, and if anyone's voting to the contrary, if they could now please indicate. Councillor Steve Hunt, are you abstaining?
Yes, I'm abstaining, Alison, just for clarity. Thank you.
Okay, there's no other indications, Chair, so that motion's been carried.
Okay, thank you, Alison, and thank you, members. Urgent items, there are none. We do have an item that we want to scrutinize, which is in the private report. So to resolve to exclude the public for the following items pursuant to section 100A, bracket 4 and bracket 5 of the Local Government Act 1972 and the relevant exempt paragraph or part 4 of the Schedule 12A to the above act. Can I please have a proposer and a seconder to move into private, please? Seconder, please.
Sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Can I ask that any public or press in attendance now exit the meeting, and can the recording be stopped, please? And Alison, can you confirm once this has been done, please?
Yes, I will do it. Just, Cleona, can we stop the recording, please?